Okay, we'll field one more question from the crowd and then I'll ask one and we'll wrap up the Q&A.
Yes, I've just got a question for you, Simon, about the sustainability of the buildings and the design. From my understanding, all of the units will have internal clothes dryers. None of them have got much of a yard at all. They don't have any facility to dry their clothing outside. They're all to be air conditioned. They won't have any facilities to have gardens or anything like that. They'll be just in those little boxes over there. Do you think that people want to live like that?
Look, I certainly think there's a demand for it. I mean, people live like that in quite a number of places around the world, around the country and around the Lower Hunter. So it's a lifestyle opportunity for people who don't want to maintain a garden or a yard, who are happy to come home, have all their maintenance done by a body corporate and enjoy their time out on the Fernleigh track, down at the beach, up at the shops. Okay, so I appreciate not everyone shares those views and that's fine, but there's a lot of detached housing in Whitebridge and there's ample opportunity for people to pursue that lifestyle if that's what they want. We're providing for a different market and no one's expecting you or requiring you to buy into it, but we're providing the opportunity for those people who want a different type of lifestyle and want more time to enjoy the benefits of this area and less time maintaining their properties.
All right, Sean, we've got one lady who has been waiting very patiently, so we'll have one more question.
Well, everybody, so there's not a big turn up and I'm very keen on quality of life, and I think that this has been an amazing turn up and I believe in power for the people. Over the years I've been in a lot of protests and I can tell you that the people do have a say, and I'm pretty sure the people that are attending here would even be advocates for those that couldn't come. And that's what we have to always be looking out for, not just for us but for others. And I just think that this is going to spoil the whole ambience of a beautiful village atmosphere. It's going to have big inroads on the traffic's conditions, and just the whole thing. Development for the sake of development is really not the answer. And I think what that lady said before me, the sustainability is very important. And I just say to the people here, keep up the good fight and more power to the people. Yeah. Okay?
One more, I promise, the last one.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to follow on what Jean respectfully just said. I disagree with the fact that it's not a large group. I think it's a wonderful group of advocates that are pushing for what I see as pedestrian and traffic safety for our young children.
Yeah.
One of the things I'd like to say, and I can't spot somebody specifically, but you see this large group of advocates, there's one person missing. It's the local member, Andrew Cornwell. So could someone give me some advice in terms of why Andrew's not here? Because clearly it's a significant issue for the local community, and I'll put that question to you, Rob.
He's playing golf.
Andrew was at the last meeting, I just add, but Liberal councillor Robert Denton, who actually also works for Andrew, I believe, in his office. Would you like to answer that?
Thanks, Eddie, for the question. I'm unsure where Andrew is this afternoon. I know he has a very young newborn child, so he may be with his family this afternoon. And just from a issue point of view, he is sitting back and waiting to see what everybody in the community writes in terms of their submission and take it all in and take those views. As a local MP, I'm sure he'd probably say very similar to, it's not necessarily my opinion that matters, but rather the opinion of the people that he represents. So he's waiting to hear what you guys have to say, and he said that consistently, including at the last meeting he attended here in December.
Okay.
Development like Whitebridge. He's trying to make it like down in Sydney.
Chatswood.
Yeah.
Chatswood. Trying to do up here.
Okay.
When was the
That's a
last
fair
time they
point.
built anywhere?
Sorry?
What's their history of what they built? Where have they built before?
Hilton Grusion. And SNL. I don't know. I think that's something that we might have to do a bit of research on and
be able to find out what sort of job they did.
Just go and Google Hilton Grujon and check out his history.
Well,
okay. All right, I'm going to move it along. This will be the last question. Then Barney wants to say a couple of words, and then I think Philippa's going to wrap it all up for us. Okay, so my last question is, where is Wade? There he is. There are 3 heavily mined coal seams under this site, the same 3 seams that run under the former TAFE site in Cohiba. The Mine Subsidence Board put restrictions on the Cohiba site of a maximum of 2 stories high, either a brick veneer or weatherboard construction, lightweight construction, and a maximum building length of 30 metres. This development is majority 3-storey, and some of the buildings are 70 metres in length. So the Mine Subsidence has yet to rule on this. So being that the site has the same and possibly worse undermining than the Cohiba site, it is possible that the Mine Subsidence could rule against this development. If they do, will SNL withdraw their DA before it goes to the JRPP?
I don't know.
There's a referral currently before the Mine Subsidence Board. The latest advice we've had is that they actually haven't looked at it, so I can't give you any further advice on that. But with reference to the TAFE site, the conditions, by the sounds of it, and I haven't seen them, sound like standard conditions that the Mines Board put on, and I'm assuming that relates to the current development. And for those of you who aren't aware, the TAFE site at Cohiba was previously approved for up to 3-storey residential flat buildings in combination with some terrace and townhouses at quite a more significant density than we proposed over on this site. So at some point in the past, Mines have approved up to 3 storeys. Look, we've made an application to Mines. We're awaiting their assessment of that report to come back and put conditions. And ultimately, if those conditions don't support the current development, then it's unlikely to be withdrawn, but it would obviously have to be modified if we don't get Mines approval.
So if it's not withdrawn, it will still go to the JRPP, is that correct? Can some of the councillors answer that? Yeah. Yes, it will. So if Mine Subsidence says it can't be built and you don't withdraw it, wouldn't that be a waste of taxpayers' money assessing a development that can't even be built?
So, I mean, Sean pointed out where we're at in the process at the start of this meeting. So the notification closes on the 12th of February. What happens after that notification period is the council assessing staff will go through and have a look at all of the submissions that are made during the notification period. They'll have a look at all of the referrals, both internal to council and from external agencies that are received, and they'll do their own assessment of the merits of the design of the proposal. At that point, they'll either prepare a report for the joint panel, or they will write back to us as the developer requesting information and identifying issues with the proposal in its current form. We then have the option of responding to that through amended design, providing additional information, withdrawing the development, or asking them to approve it in its current form, or not approve it, determine it in its existing form. So I suspect we're probably quite a number of weeks off that, given the volume of submissions and the number of referrals, complexity of the DA. But ultimately, we're awaiting feedback from council at this stage as to what additional information and further discussions we need to have about the proposal.